Alright, this is going to be a little bit of a review and just a talk, just me talking. I've been back into the CB thing about the last year and a half, and been doing amps and everything for the last amplifiers, linear amps for the last 7 months. I'm a quick learner though, and I did used to mess with CBs years ago. And this is also a review on Snake Radio Customs. So I like these old Cobra radios, and this one here is a 140 GTL, which is a mobile 142. Everybody knows the 142 that Tim at Snake Radio Customs did up for me. And I got this. It was like one of those, oh shucks, I won an eBay bid, and I got it. And I was like, well, may as well send it off to him. And I was running a Chinese Cobra 29, which was working fine at the time. I've since sold it off to a friend of mine, but that radio was working real good, and that's what turned me on to these old Cobras again. Other than I know them from my youth, high school years, I know Cobra 29s, and so when I got back into radios, that's what I looked at, you know, and just yeah, I don't have any desire to talk on anything but you know, old Cobras. So I talked on this radio for quite a while, maybe about 5 months, and I used it a lot. And I talked a ton of skip on this radio. I have some videos up if you want to go see the skip videos. And I talked skip barefoot, and I talked skip with a little RM Italy amp that I had picked up at the time. And man, this thing just worked great. I mean, I talked AM, lots of AM skip with this thing too. And it doesn't really have that much power. But guess what, that little amp, you know, we get out there pretty good. But it doesn't like have lots of forward swing or nothing. But like I said, something about it. I mean, I talked a lot of skip, and definitely sideband, barefoot sideband, and then also sideband with the little amp with this guy. And a lot of that was off a 5-foot fire stick antenna on the center of the roof of my truck. And that's antennas with grounds and you know, heavy gauge grounds and everything, you know, set up right. Low SWR and also 102-inch whip as well. But anyway, I had no problems with this radio at all. You know, I don't, you know, you hear people on the air, they're having squealing problems. Oh, let me turn something down. Let me turn something up. Oh, it's squealing again. Oh, it's squealing. You know, I've never had anybody tell me any of those things. I do use noise canceling microphones, but it seems like a lot of the problems that people are plagued with, like this annoying like hums in the background, goofy sounds. You know, I've never had any problem, and I never had any problem with the other 29 that I had either. But a lot of that, I think, can be attributed to how well these radios are put together. He goes through and he puts all new caps, and he puts them on a frequency, and maybe that's where all the great skip comes from, you know. But just a combination of everything, and of course, you know, what I'm running now, which is lots of power, and that's we're going to get into that in a second. But this was what I used, and I really liked just talking on a barefoot radio. And to this day, I like the idea of that. The idea. Because around here in Chicago, you're going to talk on a barefoot radio. It didn't take me too long to figure out that, you know, even though you can get out far and you can hear and receive, and you can talk, and if they listen for you, they'll hear you. But unfortunately, it's just not like that here. We have a lot of big radios. A lot of people are just real jerks. So that's what you need the power for. I mean, we get guys in Chicago. Of course, these guys are cool. We got a guy with a 64 pill, 6.4 pill in his Suburban. Another guy with 32 pills, and we have power like that rolling around. So once I got exposed to that, and you know, it got to a point where you might come across somebody that's just a jerk, or somebody who's going to try and bully you on the radio or talk to you a certain way or key up on you, pretend like they doubled up on you. We get a lot of that too. So that's why you need to be armed with bigger, stronger radios. This is another 29 from Tim at Snake Radios that he did. And this thing's been awesome, man. Just, run into my driver, and then my driver runs my big box that's in my truck now. And I'm not going to say how many pills just because, well, like I said, I don't want some of these idiots around here. We got a guy driving around here talking a lot of smack, and he's got an 8-pill, and he thinks he's hot. So, I can't wait for him to get over here. And, I don't call people out. I don't try and cut people's radios off. But every once in a while, you'll see, you're on the radio a lot, that every once in a while you'll get someone trying to bully you. So I look at it like like martial arts. You want to have the skills, the weapons, I guess, whatever you want to call it, to deal with it. You want the ability. Let's say that, the ability. You want to have the ability to deal with it. And that's what these 320 amp Lee Neville. This is not amp, alternator. I'm running 220 amp alternators in my truck right now. I have a background in building motorcycles and working on cars, and it's sure helped me with all this, because even though I have only been back in the radios for about a year and a half, had a lot of stupid questions and whatnot at first, but I'm a quick learner with that. But what hinders a lot of these radio guys is they don't have the ability to run heavy gauge wire and do all this high power type of stuff. And maybe it's a lack of common sense, I don't know. But anyway, I got two 220 amp alternators, and this is going in there too. This is a 320 amp alternator, Lee Neville. This is $780 for this amp, and I got an old truck. I got the V belt. I already set this up with the V belt, and this is going in. It's extremely cold right now, so I'm not going to be out there working. It's literally like been 0 degrees, so I'm waiting till spring till that's going in there, But you can do the math on that and try and figure out what. Okay, I'll show you my amps and everything in the future, but basically what it's going to be is one of the 220s is coming out. It's going to be a 320 and a 220, so over 500 amps of alternator power, so you can get an idea of what we're running, But all the heavy gauge wiring with the battery lugs on all connections, and I do all that myself. All the soldering, I do everything myself. But I have a background in that, It's a real pain, man, trying to change your pulley sizes to get these to run the type of power you want, maybe to lower RPM. And then, of course, trying to get your belt sizes because, you got to custom make everything. So it's a pain, but once you do it and you got your truck set up right, and you're not running off your truck's electrical system, you're running off your own electrical system for your radios, you can run a lot of power and just sound like $1 million. Yeah, so that's that. And it's cool too. You could turn on your driver and you've got everything set up right, and your big box is right there, and it's not even on, or you can have it on. And while just listening, but it's just not necessarily using it. But you can low drive them. I usually low drive my amps, and then even if you do using your big box, you're running it. You can always turn up, and you could play possum a little bit. But I don't tell people. I don't say over the air what type of stuff I'm running, because I just love the idea of someone that's a total just a jerk out there going out and spending like all this money, because this stuff's expensive. I love the idea of them going out and spending all this money, and to come over and just get embarrassed. You know what I mean? They fell short because they didn't know that this is the type of stuff that you're using. Okay, now these Rode Devils. These are the mics I've had the best results with. Is these guys here? They sound the best. I use this Sky Thumper a lot. These with the windows down in the summer, they get some wind noise, and then I'll use this. But in the winter, definitely these Rode Devils, they sound great, man. They really do. And these metal cords, I like them because they're super long. So I could just lay this in my lap, and I can just grab it, and it's super long. This always gets caught on my pants or my shirt with the cord, maybe right here gets caught when you're pulling it. And I got an SRA 188 too, but the cord's too short and it doesn't sound as good, at least in my experience. But no, these radios that he's done, I got no problems at all. And it seems like this thing's just a beast, man. It really is. It just forward swings like crazy and just loud audio and everything. So anyway, that's just me talking a little bit in a review on these old 1970s Cobras. And I got another one too that he did, another detail that's coming in the mail. And I pulled this one out of my truck because it's going down to 17 below zero. Here we're going 11 for the high and 17 below zero. So that's why I took this out. I'll leave it out there in the cold, but man, that's just too cold. Anyway, catch you guys later.